All right, team, we're live here at the close. I know it. Joe's going to get me a little bit later today, but let's get into it. Action's going on. Market is moving around, but it seems like we're heading in. At least the Bears are happy today as we reject going back into the 383s. For a little bit there, we popped up right into above the 383s, then a quick rejection again. We're back down to 377. Can we get at least a little bounce here towards the close? We'll end up finding out. Of course, if I look around, leadership in the red, that's a simple story there. Only thing I'm seeing there in the green, slightly Tesla. Let's talk all about it. At the close, let's get into it.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
3 consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, what's going on, Joel? What are you seeing in the market?
Man. Yeah, I had a pretty rough afternoon. I'm packing for this Fiesta Bowl trip, and I'm only going for 3 or 4 days, and so I took out all my Michigan shirts. Okay. I mean, I had to put like 27 of them back. I never realized that, like, oh, I got this one on. This is an old one. I'm not bringing this one. But now I'm fired up. I want to do a really good show for everyone today. I want to help you guys out in every way possible. I'm not going to be here for the next 2 days. I'm not on Monday, obviously on Tuesday, but man, I just want to channel whatever wisdom I can, help you guys out any way I can, and I'll just let Mitch take it over, and we're going to do a lot of ticker time.
Let's go to it. And of course, we'll start off with the rundown. Let's do it right quickly.
Okay, let's do the rundown. Here. Yeah. SPOOs are down 42 and a quarter. Man, I mentioned 38.75 as a breakout level. Well, stopped right there, right on the kisser, and we broke down 08 and a quarter. The only thing holding us up here is 20 handles lower, 88.75. That was last week's low, and we're getting awful close to that. The buck, that's okay. That's up 30 cents at 104.19. The bonds are down 14.30 seconds here at about a half a point, 124, 28.30 seconds. Crude peeling back off 80, down 79 cents at 78.74. And gold is down 11.90 at 18.11.20. Silver falling out of the 24 handle big time. That's down 56 cents at 23.65. And Bitcoin, that's down only $30 at 16,565. And before I move on, and Mitch and I were having this discussion, and I do have some breaking news. Do you have the breaking news thing?
I think we should have one around here.
Guess what?
I think I pulled it off. But what's the breaking news for us?
My computer arrived.
Sound the horn. The computer is here. We'll be back. Yes.
I can
hear the applause out there.
I was afraid to even leave the house, take a shower, do anything until it came, and I'm not going to be able to set it up obviously until I get back. But because I really wish I could share I know I share my charts with you guys, but I really wish I could share my quote monitor with you, because it's just telling you something that this market is just not going to turn. I mean, I try and keep some bullish stuff on, but when I look at the top components, you guys know how S&P centric I am, right? Yeah. If you look at the top 10 components, and I combined the Googles because they haven't done crap since they split into 2 companies, you still have the Titans of tech at the top of the index. And, I've always been a big SPOO fan, versus the Dow Jones. Well, I may need to change my tune. You got Apple down nearly $4, 3%. Microsoft down almost 1%. Google down 1%, $1.50, 1.64%. Amazon down $1.02. That's over 1%. And then, you get into some of your value stocks. Nvidia is still hanging in there. But these stocks, I mean, it's going to take a long time before Apple's, these stocks are replaced. And if these stocks are just going to just keep going down day after day, week after week, month over month, it's just going to be very hard to turn it around. I mean, you have some of your value stocks in there: UNH, J&J, ExxonMobil, JP Morgan. I know Tesla dropped out of it, but I still keep that on there. So it's just like the simple math here. And if you're watching the overall markets, I mean, until Apple puts a base in, and Microsoft and Google, which doesn't look anytime soon. I mean, I was trying to stay out of the retest of the 3,500 camp, but man, just watching these stocks get destroyed going into earnings season. So I will, once I get things, I could be back on with my computer on Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. But with that kind of tech waiting still, folks, things are not looking good for 2023.
It's going to be tough, right? If our leadership goes, well, probably so will the market. Very rare times can we have our leaderships dropping like it is and then also expect to see an up move in the overall market. It's just almost impossible because the truth is just
Right.
how it's created, right? It's just how it's created. And I think at this point, what
Indexes.
we need to be looking at is which one of these is probably going to be the one that can hang around at least. Right now, Apple just breaking through the support. I thought this one could be the one that maybe just doesn't break down, just doesn't look bad. Well, today we finally cracked through those
Mm.
lows from June 16th. Yeah, so there you guys see it.
Mhm.
129.04 was there. We just broke through it. Now down to 126.03 and a big crack there on the Apple chart.
And you know where it's going? And it's not
Where's
too
it going?
far. I'm not going to be any kind of genius here. But let's see if you could do a little bit of spitballing here. Go to your monthly,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
There's our
And
monthly.
one monthly, okay. So one monthly low in one area is pretty good, right? Two
Mm-hmm.
monthly lows in an area is pretty good. But where do you see three monthly lows in the same area? And now
Mm.
look at that. You see that area that I'm talking about?
I see it. I see it. It's right there, right in front of
Yeah,
us, right
yeah.
here. That's
Uh-huh.
going to be your April, your May, and your June lows there. 123.13, 122.25, and then 122.49.
Mhm.
So where would we put it at? What would you round it to
Yeah, you
there
see it
area?
gets tough. I when I see three numbers like that within a buck
Mm-hmm.
apart, I mean, I'd say 123. I mean, there'd be some institutional bids at 123.
Yeah.
You'll probably get pennied, a few times trying to buy it at 123. It all depends, what kind of opens we have. But it's just 122 and a half, 123. I mean, that's the next area. Change agent, Joel. What happened? You lost hope. Isn't this tax law something pain end? Where's the cash going? Does cash have to go? It does, but you know where it's going, change agent? It's going in the bank. People are
Yeah.
getting 5% on their money, risk free. Yeah, you're losing out to inflation, but man, oh man, Apple's down 3% today. I mean, there is places. That's the thing, change agent. The Tina trade. There is no alternative. The set you bid behind this market, right? There
Yeah.
are better places to put your money.
Yeah, and
And
more guaranteed than the stock market, right? And that's the
yeah.
true fact there is that
y-
there's some that it's more what you're going to get in return. In the
Yep.
stock market, the truth is you don't know what you're going to receive. And so that's also what Joel's bringing up here is that there's more certainty outside of the market now. That
Yep.
hasn't existed for a very long time. And there's still questions of how long will the rates stay up this high, right? And if they stay up this high, well, that's going to be more and more why we can be looking for some different opportunities. I did see the banks up today. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about
hmm
them as we
Okay,
get
let's talk
into
some
it.
positive. Yeah, the banks, and we'll just go with the big one. It's one of the big components. J.P. Morgan, been holding up really well here, but it got shellacked. I mean, still for the year, and this is just
Yeah.
kind of this is like a little bit of a catch up trade, right? Because this ended the year at 158.35. So 28 divided by 130, that's a pretty good percentage, right? So that I mean that's gotten whacked. So they're coming in. You got a little bit of a dividend. They're not going out of business. It's a little bit of a safer place. So I think the bank are benefiting from the higher rates. They could just flip that money around. I'd say a relative strength. This thing is holding up 128.41. That's the major support. What I would be doing, I mean, of course, if the whole market goes into a retreat. But you know what I love to do on things like this? I look at your high in the move, and let's call it 139. Let's call it 138 for simplicity. 128. You had a 10-point move, right? So you're getting half of this back, little bounce here, right? So what's going to be
Mhm.
key for J.P. Morgan here is if this just is a dead can't bounce, going to roll over like when he had, then it's going to fail here. 133, 134 roll over, take out 128.41, and then come right back down. So I like, when things are going up like this, you finally get a pullback. You've had three higher lows, and which has not been the greatest tape, over the last couple days. But figure that 50% retracement, just not getting over it just on one day, but 2 days, 3 days, build a base, get above it. A lot of times we talk about, resistance. Well, resistance is good. You can pop through it a couple times, but until it shows you that that old resistance is going to be support, you need to build a base. I think some of the airlines are known for that. I have I had one bank I think that got taken over this year. I'll have to check my different portfolios, or maybe that was last year. Maybe somewhere I would add something, but still, if they start to hit the whole market, then the banks are going to go down too. BAC, I just looked at this one. It's a little bit lower price one. I'd say for you BAC traders here, this is not as this has come off pretty hard, but I'd keep an eye on 33 for this one a little bit longer term. You hit that in mid December. You kind of got close to it today. So it gets a 33 bid. This has got some room on the upside. Let's look at Wells Fargo. I mean, that has three lower highs in a tape like this, which is good, but this has come off hard. Your Goldman Sachs still trading in a pretty
Yeah, not
man,
looking as good.
look at this. Yeah, that one keep a close eye on
Yeah,
Benzinga
that one doesn't
today.
look as
That
good.
one's not looking so good. Morgan Stanley. I
Oh.
mean, they're different, right? I
Yeah, they're
mean, they're
different. They're
different,
different. I would
right?
compare Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, those two more closer together, and then JP
Ooh,
Morgan and Bank of America, right? Global banks versus capital markets, right? Keep that in mind. A little bit different industries in the financials, right? And so we always got to understand that sometimes we might be seeing the global banks really looking a little bit better here than the capital
yeah.
markets. And that could be why. That could be maybe more interest rate related, but it's like always. One thing that we want to keep in mind also is that what are the type of stocks that we're looking for the rotation next year? And so the financials are starting to really get on my radar. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to just, be bullish financials, but overall, if we take a look here, and this is my index, so it's not going to be weighted. That's why I like looking at this one. Of course, you guys can also look at just like kind of the spiders for the financials. But I've been seeing this hold, and relative to how a lot of kind of industries are looking, this doesn't look too bad. It's the same thing I would say about the industrials, right? Overall, throughout the whole year, we're actually going to close in the green for industrials, right? Starting in January, we're around for this index around the 3,500. We've made it past that. And I think that sectors like this, we need to keep and watch. If they're not going to go down in the bear market, and we're going to get an ability to start seeing these get more appreciation as cash flows
Mm.
continue to focus into next year, I don't see why industrials kind of change. The only one that I get a little bit more concerned is when we look at like an energy style trade. We can see some of those starting to turn around. This has made a huge move, but I'm starting to think that there's some headwinds that could be starting to present itself in energy as we keep going. China reopening, stuff like that, right? That might bring some demand back. But if at any point we get any resolution in, I think, the Russia and Ukraine situation, bye goes these stocks, I would say. But hey, we got to keep watch to see what happens in the sectors.
You bring up I'm just gonna go paint a broad stroke here with
Yeah.
the XLE because Mark Chaikin, who was on earlier, mentioned that the power gauge, the bacon shower gauge, has turned negative. And then I'm looking at this chart here of the XLE, and it's the same kind of setup, right? You got to almost to $95, right? You had your pull back to the 82 area. Let's call it 83. So that's a 12-point move. You had 6 to that. So this isn't getting back half of the move. This it had to break and you're trying to recover, but it's not getting back that new 50%. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I've always been, I've been pretty bearish oil here. And
Mhm.
for a long time, and I was really bearish when it was triple digits, and everyone told me it was going to 300 and everything. And the fundamentals for me is I know they're just pumping. Whatever they say they're doing with output
Yeah.
out there, they're just going won't, 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 won't. And also the other thing that kind of I looked at for the oil trade, and let me see, it takes me a while to do this. So the front month contract, and this is just a good lesson for you guys. Your front month contract in the crude right now. Man, my trade station is doing funky things. Your front month contract is trading at 78.68, right? Okay, that's February. So let's go. I should be able to get this at CLH23. Huh? Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Or that, yeah. No, it'd be CLH23. I messes this up. I just want to see if there's, what the futures are telling you. And I'm that CLH23. Okay. It's traded at about par. All right. So, they're probably rolling that over. But for the longest time, it was the back months were trading at a discount to
Yeah.
the front month. And what that told you was that the big players and the hedgers were looking, at contango, and they were looking at lower prices. And now if it flips to a premium, then that's a whole different thing. But that's something that can keep you in keep you safe. But I don't know. I just got the value trade is over. I just got a text on that one. You can guess who that came from. But you're right. Your Berkshire Hathaway is getting beat today. Pretty good. What else do we? I mean, we use
Even the
that for
deer is starting to
value.
crack a little
We'll
bit.
go.
The deer finally cracking?
Yeah, the deer. Let's see. The deer is running wild, man. That's just a. That's weird. I can't. I'm gonna throw out that one low that it had here on the daily. You had a low at 420, 421.63. But this thing 430. If you guys want to whoop
Mhm.
up on that thing when it goes through 430, the momentum, see how things tomorrow. This is looking a little bit tired. A lot of consolidation. You won't get the fun stuff going until you take out 421.66. I looked at the cat. The cat is on the prowl. The cat is still right up there, man. You can't tell me that value trade is over yet. I'm just trying to
Cat's
be
out the
objective
hat.
here. And what else is our traditional what is
Our
what
value
else is
trades that
our
have been doing well.
Berkshire? Yeah, Berkshire
Our
just not
health,
looking
we can go
good.
to health. Yeah. Also, I saw healthcare
Yeah.
down today. maybe some of those healthcare names starting to slow down a little bit
Yeah.
here.
See if the investment committee sold anything, maybe I'll have some negotiations on a plan. I would let go of this Merck. I would have no problem. I mean, it wasn't the greatest investment. I think we bought it in the 80s, but I would let that go. Pfizer, I think we have in the low 40s. I mean, people need their drugs, right? They're going to need their drugs during
Yeah.
a recession. But man, I mean, they'll come after those. The one I like
Oof.
to look at here is UNH. How's
Let's do
UNH
it.
looking? Wow.
It's just kind of
Oh
hanging in
boy. Oh
there.
boy. Yeah. Yeah. But man, once the value goes, baby. That's when we'll
What I
see
would say
the
about
37.
UNH channel station. This is my industry outlook for healthcare plans. It's just been in a channel. So look to see if we finally break down, and you'll see. I'll let you guys know. Of course, that's was the reason why I take a look at this. If I see a breakdown through this channel, I'll definitely be concerned on the UNH. One that I've been liking in there and versus that one is Cigna. So if Cigna starts turning around, and that looks a little bit heavy there, as you can see, it doesn't want to get towards that 336 right now. Good level to look for in Cigna to see if we can get back above just three highs in similar area on Cigna. And of course, there's some other ones in that area that have been interesting as of late.
Someone asked
ELV,
about Lockheed Martin here.
Lockheed. Yeah, yeah, this is
Yeah,
a good one to
wow.
take a look
I
at.
mean, look at that consolidation. Now, it's been a really long consolidation period. I don't know how long I've seen it. I would say if this doesn't bust into the 490 handle soon and you break out, you got some lows. Wow. 485.69. Wait, no, it's below that. Wait, where's this low right here? No, excuse me, 474. I see a low there. That's what early. That's the weekly low, 474. Yeah, then another low at 73.67. I use that as a trapdoor. I'd say if you get above 490, yeah, things are cool. We're still going higher, but I keep a real close eye on that 474, and that's been a really long consolidation period. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be through earnings or whatnot, but keep an eye on 474 for LMT. What else you want to look at, Mitch? I'll let you pick the stocks out of the chat.
Yeah, so the weekly chart on Lockheed Martin is what I would say to look for some edge. I really like it. It's a lot cleaner. Maybe even the monthly chart will help you, but the weekly chart I think will give you some decent edge. A lot of wicks in the same area around these highs of 490s. We just talked about them, and that low 473.95. If we can hold that, it doesn't look too bad. You can see it before it trades on the weekly. I've been watching it before, and it trades pretty well off the weekly. Stocks like this that are slower in move and don't have so much volatility, those are the ones that I would recommend, like at least taking a look in a deeper time frame, so that you're not so kind of into the intraday moves, right? The little spike in between, that's not going to do us much. It's understanding that the volatility in Lockheed Martin in a week is about $23. That can help us out because then we can get it at a better risk to reward, hopefully near the support. If you're playing it to the long side, that's the way I like to approach things. Like always, you guys make your own investment decisions there, but weekly charts on these types of stocks can give you some edge. All right. Yeah, 5 more minutes. Let's just do ticker time now. We could definitely get into different areas. If you got
Okay.
any stock to bring up, Joel, definitely go ahead and we can bring it up. Looks like Nando wants to take a look at Walmart. Let's start there. All right. At least from my outlook there on Walmart, we got all the way up there to 155. We were back there towards kind of that 22 earlier when we were kind of pushing there in the 150s. Now we're just coming right back down. And the truth is, I don't think this is necessarily only against Walmart. If you look around, I mean, Target did not help it. Costco, yeah, it's starting to bounce back, but look how quickly that bounce back was starting to go right back down. Just seems to me like discount stores are not in favor right now. And that Costco monthly scares me a little bit. But let's go back to Walmart. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah,
Plenty of times
you
150.
cut out the
It's gonna
lows.
get there.
You cut out the lows. You cut out these lows, and it's actually below last week's low. So I'm not liking the way this is looking right now. It had a first of all, it's given back all the love that it got from its earnings report. It got hit going in its earnings report. Then it had that ridiculous move up. So looking at last week's low, that came in at 141.73. I keep an eye on this one. I think for tomorrow and Friday, I think 142 is going to be good resistance. If you get a pop, at least with the market, I'd keep an eye on that. And I think, if you get a down market, I think your next target on the downside would be that low on earnings day of 138.27. But taking out the weekly low, that's not good. So it's not doing good on a relative basis. So it kind of reminds me, I don't want to put it in the same category as Apple, but Apple, it teased you taking out that low one day and it recovered, and then it teased you another day and it recovered, and then today it went pow and it really took it. So these stocks take a little bit longer to go, but important to keep an eye 142 on Walmart. I would not be buying. I would not be attempting a long here because your risk is all the way down to 138.
All right, let's go to Boeing. Boeing's been looking good. It's been hanging on here. You can see I've been drawing kind of a little bit of a support trend line here. I feel like if we can hold these pullbacks, doesn't look too bad. Really looking for the move back above kind of this 193 going to 200. And as long as we can hold the trend right now, I feel like the trend's your friend on this one. But of course, if this lets go, just be careful out there, team.
Yeah, I'd see a little bit of concern. You have a pair of lows here just under 190, 189.72, and what are they? 189.72 was a low, and then the other low was no, there's nothing there. We're already below that, right? We're at 188.60. What's this low I'm looking at here? Uh, Next stopping point for me is 184.72. So that was low on Monday. That was the low for the week. This one's kind of baffled me. I mean, I just don't think people are gonna be buying these big old jet liners and stuff. I think,
Yeah.
travel is different. And but the stock has been beat up. It's a value trade. I would look, I mean, it had this break for Boeing to keep a longer term eye on it. Went nine, you had about a 12-point break. This thing better get back over 190 in a hurry. I see some test of Friday's low at 184.72.
All right, let's keep going. Looking in the chat to see what else is being mentioned here. Looks like we got Cleveland Cliff being mentioned in the chat. This is one that I started seeing some basic materials starting to turn around today, getting me a little bit concerned because at the end of the day, these stocks were bouncing back, starting to get some of the gains. NUE is a classic example, right? It had gotten a huge hit, had started working its back in October, but now it's starting to look a little bit bearish, like it wants to come right back down. We'll see what happens on these names. Let's go back to Cleveland Cliff. What do you see there, Joel?
I don't like it under 16.
Yeah.
Where you gonna go? You got that gap in there, so
Whoosh.
things don't immediately follow it. Let's see here. Let's do IVC. IVC, man, I don't see. I don't even know if I've ever even looked at this one, so this should be a fun one.
There's
Oh
been
man, the
nothing.
most you can lose is 38 cents. Yeah, most
This
you
is
can
what I
lose,
call a nothing,
and that's
man.
not investment advice. Reddit, go to your Reddit board, get that puppy going.
Yeah, that's
SLB
the only
hanging in
thing.
there, but I see like a
Interesting
quad
one.
top there. This thing better get over 54. But that's it. That's closing bell. Not a good day, folks. Keep an eye. I mean, 2 days left in the week, and that 88.50 low from last week, that's in the targets. I'm gonna miss you guys. Kind of, not really. Maybe I brought my Surface with me. I broke out because my laptop. I need a new laptop too, but I brought my Surface and I tried to streamline with Mitch on my old. Just the thing about my Surface is that my shoulders get tired.
I know. You're
Because
like,
you're like
yeah, you're
typing,
like one of
but I'm
those
not
kids on
done.
their phone, right? Like just stuck on their phones. Yeah, no, come
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
But hey, we wish you the best, Joel, on
Go
your
blue.
weekend. Go blue, go blue. I hope that we come back celebrating for my man, Joel. Either way, we'll be celebrating because you'll be back, my friend. So we'll miss you while you're gone.
Thank you, Mitch.
Have a good one. Have fun. Stay safe out there. I know those crazy college kids that can get wild.
Some of my buddies are me out there, so it's gonna be fun. All right, go Blue. Everyone have a safe holiday.
Have a safe holidays. We'll be back tomorrow. Pre-market prep. Don't miss it, team. I only got Dennis Dick, but guess what? I'll be there. Pre-market prep. Don't miss it, team. We got a great show for you. We'll keep going till the end of the week, and we'll have Joel back on Tuesday. Hopefully, he'll be a happy man with the championship trophy. We'll have to wait and see. Hit the thumbs up. Hope you guys enjoyed all the action today. If you guys missed it, we had some great interviews on Pre-market prep. 3 analysts joined us, experts. So check that out. Also recommend, if you didn't catch it, Stock Market Movers update outlook from Adam Johnson to 2023. We've been doing our best trying to bring on everybody to give you their 23 outlook. Like always, hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button down below, and that notification bell to be notified the moment we go live. I'll see you guys in the morning. Hit the thumbs up, and definitely a happy New Year's for Joel, of course. Appreciate the love, chat. And like always, hit the share button. Let everybody know this is the community that supports you, helps us keep growing our understanding of the markets, and of course, our trading skills, whether that be for swing traders, day traders, and investors. We'll be here for you. Benzinga. See you tomorrow, team.